So it's the 28th of June. I haven't done a video for a while, so I thought I'd just give everyone a quick update. Over the last few days we've been finishing off the front room, and all bar a couple of little things like this bit of wet plaster up here and that plaster either side of the fireplace. Everything's completely done, so it's all ready to go. We're actually getting carpet fitted first thing tomorrow morning, so that's why we had to get this to a ready state. My fault with the fireplace. I decided to rip off the skirting boards off the front because I didn't like the look of them, so that just needs to be sanded back at a little point. And then we've had some issues up there, but that's all sorted now. Window ledges are all back to wood now instead, because they had their horrible plastic coverings. And yeah, and generally it's just been tidied up, painted, sanded, painted, sanded, painted, plastered. There used to be a door there if you look back on some of the older videos, so that's all completely gone now. And everything bar the doors now are all done. All the woodwork's been sorted, so ready for carpet tomorrow. We can finally get some furniture in, so other than Henry we can get some real furniture in. So thermostats are in as well, everything's all working, all the electrics are in, all the lights are in. So yeah, moving on. Kitchen's pretty much there as well. We're getting there. We're there we go, a lot more nearer the end now. So we've got a little bit of filling there that hasn't been sanded back and things like that. So there's lots of little bits to do. Things like Andy, when he came down, stripped all the paint off the door, so that was one of them, ready to be repainted again. A lot needs to be taken off and repainted, but all slowly catchy monkey, we're getting there. I've got some panelling up now in that corner. You can see the edges just needs to be sanded back and then it needs to be painted again. We have got some nice chunky shelves to go up with cast iron brackets, but the brackets were ordered and they turned out they sent the wrong ones, so they're going back. Cooker's all in properly now. I've been actually using the frying pans, making a nice bacon sandwich, which is good. Makes life better if you can have a bacon sandwich. The table, that table there, will go back in that corner as soon as the bath's moved. Everything's in. Fridge is in as working as well, so it's actually really nice to have some cold drinks. All the sink and everything's all done as well. Got a nice oak worktop. And we do actually have now, we've got mains pressure hot water, and we've got lovely mains pressure, we've got cold filtered water as well, because there's a filter underneath the actual tap itself in the sink unit. So much better. So yeah, we're getting there. This wall still needs to be panelled, but we're going to leave that for a while, and you can see it goes right the way up there, up to the vaulted ceiling. So we just need to, I need to put a bit of board up there, and then the whole thing can be panelled from top to bottom. I've done a bit more electrics recently. You can see there on the left of the consumer unit is a switch fuse, and that's another like a big 100 amp jobby, and that supplies the boiler. There's a secondary consumer unit in the utility room over there, so some really major wiring going on. There's 25mm SWA sort of armoured cable that runs all the way along here into the utility room. So underfloor heating's all in now, all runs, all works. It's controlled by the thermostat, so we've got one thermostat in the kitchen, one in the front room, and two different zones, so you can set the temperatures independently. And then we have a third thermostat for the radiators upstairs. So everything's working. We had it all working yesterday. So we've got hot water, and we've got nice warm toasty bricks as well, which is nice. So moving into utility room. Just step back a bit. So here's the boiler. I sort of showed you a little bit of that before, but now it's completely finished. You've got, I could bore you forever with all the details, but everything's working. And it's all good, which is nice. So, and you can see all the amount of wires for those immersions there, look. So all the wiring's done. That's the control unit for the actual thermal store itself. And you can see, this is the consumer unit. And you can see there, I've got two MCBs there just for the power of the thing, and then another two, a 32 amp and a 40 amp for the immersions. So it shows you what sort of power this thing actually demands. And then I've got an RCBO there as well, this one. So, and that controls sort of the washing machine and tumble dryer plus the socket, so it's all independent. So which is nice. So turn those back off. Hang on. And going up into the loft is where I feel like I've been spending most of my time. This is the plumbing work that I've been doing for the boiler, the whole boiler setup. So you can see you've got the 2 expansion vessels there, and that's because it's running mains pressure, cold water and hot water, plus mains pressure and plus a pressurised heating system as well. Again, I could bore you with the details of all the bits and pieces that I've fitted, but you've got your filling loop up there and things like that. You've got a nice Magna Clean, got lots of valves and vents and lots of shut-offs and things like that. But the good main thing is it's all working, it's all safe, pressure relief valves everywhere. So yeah, and that's where it goes to the rest of the house there. And you can see the mains cable, the big armoured cable that comes up. But yeah, so I'm glad that's all done, because that was a lot of work and a lot of evenings spent with me reading books and NVQ books on plumbing and electrics and pestering people for advice and things like that. So I'm glad that's all done. So moving on, one thing I haven't showed you, I've just fitted the under cabinet lights, so it's quite nice in the evening. These are just LED strips that I've made up. I bought a soldering iron, cut the strips up and rewired them. So they all run from a 12 volt DC power pack, which is up the top there, and that's switched by that main switch. I've got lights to fit underneath these units as well, but I haven't quite done it yet. And there'll be a light under there as well. So going upstairs, you can see Darcy's been with me. There's you can see there, that's the wiring for the under cabinet lights. So it's all mains fed, and it gets switched to 12 volt DC. And then by that secondary light switch, and then it all works. So it's a nice proper setup. So there's Darcy girl, looking like I've just caught her. Yeah, I think she's probably just moved down from that bit of the bed there. Yep, definitely. So this is Charlotte's room. It's all done now, everything's ready to go. A couple of little bits, like it needs a little lick of paint here and there, but radiators are in, they all work, are nice and warm. Started moving some boxes in, which is nice. Got curtains up. All on LED dimmers as well. So, oh Darcy, look at the state of that. So yeah, so that's all done, which is nice. Moving on to our room. Jen's been busy in this room. Again, it's finished now, which is lovely. So it's all done. Again, the curtains are ready to go in. Radiator's in, it's all plumbed in, it gets nice and hot. Oh, and you can see this is the thermostat for upstairs. So yeah, which is nice, and that controls the 2 radiators upstairs. But they're all on TRVs, so they can be individually switched as well, which is nice. Bit of acoustic insulation is going under the floorboards shortly, but otherwise it's all completely done in here. And I can't wait to sort of start getting some furniture in this room as well. We're not getting carpet in upstairs yet, or the stairway, purely for the fact we can't afford it yet. So one thing at a time, but to be honest, the floorboards aren't too bad, and it's not too cold in here either. So USB sort of sockets either side of the bed, and then we've got sockets everywhere in here. And there's another socket around there as well, so it's not going to be short for power. This is the bathroom, so it doesn't look very finished. Everything's been chucked in here, but everything's actually been done. So the lights are in, extractors in, hot and cold's in, toilets in, the drainage is in as well. There's a hot and cold feed there for the bath. So essentially it's just making the walls better. You can see they need a little bit more work. Laying the floor, and then once the floor's in, everything's freestanding, so it literally gets dropped in, and then it's decorating. So we're nearly there. This room's just been used as a dump as well, and funny enough there's another Henry there. So so yeah, that's pretty much it. Just trying to think if there's anything else. Probably missed loads. It's been manic over the last few days, it really has. So it's been plenty of late nights, so, and early mornings, which is nice. This is the landfill of a garden. It's got slightly bigger because Andy and I, we had a bit of a bonfire, which got quite out of hand at one point. But most of we're getting there now. It's slowly getting, the big garden's getting bigger and bigger. But really, it's a bit of a tip. I found a couple of Romanians over that side the other day. That's how much of a tip this place is. And oh yeah, I've got an outside sink, and that used to be in a utility room. So I've managed to cobble together some sort of plumbing. So I've actually got cold water outside, fed from a flexi and a bit of copper and a bit of the push fit, and then some drainage I just mocked up, and that goes to that drainage. So it works really well for some of the dirty washing, like when you've got hands covered in paint and stuff like that. So yeah, I won't bore you anymore.